So grammar translation method, what it is, it doesn't mean only how to teach grammar, but it is also related to the teaching of prose, poetry, or English literature. Grammar translation method, from the name itself, you can know that it is translation. It is related more to translation of the language, which was done in the olden days, you can say. So let us see what it is. In the introduction, you can write, according to W.F. Mackay, a method determines what and how much is taught, selection, the order in which it is taught, gradation, how the meaning and form are conveyed, presentation, and what is done to make the use of language unconscious, that is, repetition. So you can give this definition of method, and also you can use this definition of method in your teaching subjects wherever you require it. Okay, whenever you are explaining some method, you can write this definition of method in the beginning during the introduction. So a method determines what and how much is taught. That is the selection of the material. That how much material has to be taught. Okay. The order in which it is taught means which lesson you will teach them first, or which part of the lesson you are going to teach them first and which part you are going to teach next, that is gradation. Okay, how the meaning and form are conveyed, in which way you are going to convey your material, your instructions, your definitions. Okay, how you are going to convey it through a PowerPoint presentation or through lecture method or using the blackboard. So meaning and form are conveyed, how they are conveyed. Okay, so how these things are conveyed also is a part of the method which you are using. And what is done to make the use of language unconscious means that unconsciously also you are using language, you are repeating the things to learn language. So how, which method, which technique you are using in the mind to repeat or to practice the language and to learn language is also a part of method. So method involves, so this means the term method refers to four things mainly, and you can say namely selection, gradation, presentation, and repetition. So method involves what? Selection, what all you have to select. Okay, how you have to select. Then gradation, the order. Okay, presentation, how you are going to convey it, and repetition. Okay, how you are going to practice it. Now, what is grammar translation method? A method of foreign or second language teaching which makes use of translation and grammar study as the main teaching and learning activities. So, as I have said before, that it is related to translation. So, a method of foreign or second language, which means that English language is the second language in our country. Okay, second language teaching, which makes use of translation. Okay, through translation, the language is being taught, and grammar study by studying grammar. So these two things are followed for studying or a subject, that is which subject? English language, as the main teaching and learning activities. This is given by Richards and Skimmett. So you have to learn this definition of grammar translation method, a method of foreign or second language teaching which makes use of translation and grammar study as the main teaching and learning activities. Reasons for its popularity. why this method of teaching became popular. The majority of old teachers of English were themselves taught by translation method. Okay, the teachers were also themselves in the schools, they were taught by grammar translation method. Facilities for in-service training of teachers are not sufficient. That is why they are using the translation method. Many teachers prefer to teach by old methods because they don't have to use much of the effort in the old methods, and it is also time consuming. Now, what are the objectives of grammar translation method? The ultimate objective to be able to read, understand and appreciate written target literature. So it is mainly related to the writing skill. Okay, the ultimate objective is to be able to read. Okay, reading, then understanding it, understand and appreciate written target literature. To be able to read literature written in the target language. To be able to read literature written in target language over here means English language. The student should be able to read the literature written in the target language. This is an objective. To be able to translate from one language to another. That means translation of mother tongue to the English language or English language to mother tongue. Okay, so translation from one language to another is also the objective of grammar translation method, to develop reading and writing skill. So as discussed in the first objective, that to be able to read, understand and appreciate written target literature, the last objective is also similar, that is to develop the reading and the writing skill. So let us repeat once more the objectives. What are the objectives? To be able to read, understand and appreciate written target literature, to be able to read literature written in the target language or English language, to be able to translate from one language to another, and to develop reading and writing skill. Features of grammar translation method. Whichever question the examiner asks you in the question paper, okay, and it is related to grammar translation method, then you have to write the whole thing which I am teaching you, and that is objectives, features, advantages, okay, limitations, everything you have to include in your answer when they are asking you about the method. The method dominated language teaching from the 1840s to the 1940s. Okay, so this was the time when grammar translation method dominated more and is still being used in some of today's classrooms. We all know that in the government schools, grammar translation method is being used, and the students translate from one language to another, and also in the exam such questions are asked in which you have to do the translation. I think you all also must have done the translation in some exam of English language or literature where you had to translate your mother tongue to English and vice versa. So according to this method, the goal of foreign language study is to learn a language in order to read its literature. So as already we have discussed the goal or objectives, what is the goal? It is to study it is of language study is to learn a language in order to read its literature. So while you are learning a language, only to read its literature, and also for writing skill, developing the writing skill. It is not for speaking. Okay, so it is not more for speaking. The objective is not there that the students should learn speaking a language also. It approaches the language first through detailed analysis of its grammar rules, followed by translating sentences and texts into and out of the target language. So what is there in this? Firstly, detailed analysis of the grammar rules. Rules means that the students are told to learn the definitions of grammar. They are told to learn the rules of grammar and by heart it. Okay, learn it thoroughly and then use it. How can you learn the rules or the definitions of a language and then acquire it. Okay, when you are speaking your mother tongue, are you aware of the definitions of it? Did you learn the definition first of your mother tongue? What are nouns? What are pronouns? First, the definitions are to be learned through this method. Then only the students are taught. Then the students are taught the translation. So this is not the correct method. Okay, in which the definitions are learnt. This is the formal approach of grammar. So this is here the students are not using the grammar for speaking or listening activities. Here the students are not implementing in the day-to-day life, not practicing the language. Okay, they are not given the opportunity to practice the language. So it approaches the language first through the detailed analysis of its grammar rules. So rules and principles and definitions have to be learned by the students, followed by translating sentences and texts. So then it is followed by translating the sentences from the mother tongue to English language. Okay, and from English language to mother tongue for better understanding. And also the text is translated. And target language over here means English language. Reading and writing are the major focus. Like we have discussed earlier, reading and writing are the major focus. Little or no systematic attention is paid to the speaking and listening, that is the oral language. So the students do not acquire the skills of speaking and listening, and they are not able to speak English language. Okay, they are only able to read and write it, and that also not correctly. Vocabulary selection is based solely on the reading texts used. Okay, and words are taught through bilingual word lists, dictionary study, and memorization. So vocabulary selection is based solely on the reading texts. So over here in this point, it is explained that the reading texts which are there in the syllabus, okay, reading books which are there in the syllabus, or you can say stories, the prose which is there in the students' books, only those words are taught to the students. Only that vocabulary is taught to the student, and the vocabulary which they are using in the day-to-day life while speaking or which they require for speech, that is not being taught to the students through this method. Only what all is written in their book, that only is being taught. Those words, the meaning of those words are taught in the mother tongue. Okay, and the words are taught through bilingual word list. That means that they are taught in the mother tongue, and the meaning of a particular word is given in the mother tongue. Okay, so for example, you can say that boy is what? Ladka. Okay, that means they are translating it in Hindi. Girl means ladki. So this way the teacher is teaching them through the translation. Each word. She is not giving the equivalent of English language only. Like if I say boy and show the picture of boy to the students, that way it is not done. Okay, what is being done? They are translating it in the mother tongue, and it is easier for the teacher to teach in this way, but the language study is not done properly through this way. Bilingual word list means the list is given to the students that this is the translation list. Okay, learn the list now. Okay, that each word what it means in your mother tongue. So this way the students will only learn how to read and write. And dictionary list study is also told that you can study the dictionary, you can memorize the words, but they do not use the words in their daily life. They do not know how to use them in their daily life. The grammar rules are presented and illustrated. Vocabulary items are presented with their translation equivalents. So the grammar rules are presented and illustrated means explained. The rules are explained more, but how to use the grammar in the daily life, how to how to make sentences with words, that is not taught. Okay, they only learn the definitions, and they have to learn the how to use pronouns, how to use nouns. This is learnt by heart instead of understanding or practicing. Vocabulary items are presented with their translation equivalent. Same thing which we have discussed in the previous point, that vocabulary items are translated and learnt in their mother tongue. The sentence is the basic unit of teaching and language practice. It is this emphasis on the sentence that is a distinctive feature of the method. Okay, the sentence is told to the students, and that same sentence is translated into the mother tongue. Okay, so the whole sentence is taught to the student, not word explanation is given to the students. Word explanation is not given. A sentence is taken as a basic unit, and that is taught to the students. Accuracy is emphasized over fluency. So accuracy over here in writing, accuracy in reading is more emphasized, is given more importance than fluency of speech. Okay, speech is not given much importance. Accuracy, correctness of spelling is correct or not, that thing is given more importance. How to write correct spelling, how to write properly, that is given more importance. But how to speak the language fluently, how to acquire the proficiency of the language skills, that is not taught in the grammar translation method. Accuracy is emphasized over fluency. This was a prerequisite for passing the increasing number of formal written examinations. For passing the written examinations and for scoring good marks, the grammar translation method was used, and speech was not taught to the students because oral exams were not there at that time. Only written exams were there, so writing was given very much importance, that students should write correctly, accurately. Grammar is taught deductively. Deductively means that first you are giving the definitions, you are telling the students to learn the definitions, then you are giving the rules and the principles of grammar. Okay, then later on one or two examples is given to the students. Okay, that is called deductive method, and this is not the correct method of teaching grammar. Okay, so grammar should be taught inductively, means that more examples should be given to the students so that they come to know how to use it in their daily life, how to speak properly. Okay, but in the grammar translation method, this flaw was there, that grammar was taught deductively. Okay, presentation and study of grammar rules. Rules word is important, grammar rules, followed by examples and exercises. Whereas exercises and examples should be given more importance. But this was not there. Exercises and examples were not given to the students much. Only the rules and definitions of grammar were taught. The student's native language is the medium of instruction, means the mother tongue. The teachers and the students were allowed to speak in the mother tongue. Okay, so how will they learn the language? Without practice, without any inspiration of model speech. Okay, so it was very much difficult to acquire the spoken language. The student's native language is the medium of instruction. So we are doing the features of grammar translation method. Okay, next is the principles of grammar translation method. This we will do in the next class.